First, fair, everywhere. 19 News starts now.
Only on 19 News, a COVID-19 outbreak after a class trip. Dozens of kids in quarantine this morning. School leaders explain what's happening. Plus, the punishment for a deadly police shooting. This morning, new information on the officer accusations. And making sure your home is safe from dangerous drugs. This morning, how to get rid of your out-of-date medications.
Now on 19 News, the Cleveland comeback. Ready for the national spotlight. Our city welcomes the NFL Draft 2021.
We begin with a live look outside at the Port of Cleveland and the North Coast Harbor. You can see the giant main stage for the NFL Draft. Crews continue working later today. They're getting ready for the big event. Now, we're just days away from the draft, and the excitement is definitely building. Good Saturday morning, and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Sia Nyorkor. Let's get started. The NFL and the city both are following COVID-19 protocols to make sure that everyone stays safe. Our 19 News, Saida Abbas, is live this morning. Good morning, Saida.
Good morning, Sia.
All right, thank you, Saida. Now just days away, and 19 News has you covered for the NFL Draft. Coming up at 8:15, how the draft is a learning experience for some local college students. And then at 8:42, blending sports, music, and pop culture at the Rock Hall. Only on 19 News, a COVID-19 outbreak at a local high school. Nearly 100 students now in quarantine, and more than a dozen are sick. This at Normandy High School in Parma. The outbreak follows a trip to Disney World over spring break. The superintendent believes that some safety protocols, like wearing masks and social distancing, were not followed on the bus ride home. Now, some parents say the district should have canceled the trip. New information about the mass vaccination site in downtown Cleveland. We've been telling you how the demand is dropping for the vaccine. Organizers are now making it easier to make sure that everyone can get a dose. Beginning next Tuesday, walk-ins are welcome at the Wolstein.
There's only about 2,500 appointments that have been scheduled for next week. So if you want the vaccine, you can get the vaccine.
So if you've had trouble registering or you've been on the fence about it, we're told that there's plenty of vaccine to go around and they don't want any of it to go to waste. This morning, there are still COVID-19 vaccine appointments available. You can also scan that QR code. It's right there on the screen. Do it with your phone. It will take you to the page where you can register. Breaking news overnight, police in Portland declared a riot. They say a group of people wearing all black began marching and smashing windows. Now you can see some of the damage in the city's Nob Hill neighborhood. At least one person was arrested so far. Similar demonstrations have been happening for months in Portland. Some people vandalizing buildings and setting fires, protesting police violence. Also breaking overnight, tornadoes in Texas. The severe weather is in the northern part of the state. That's near the Oklahoma border. This video is from a storm chaser in a town called Lockett. At least the tornado developed in a remote rural area. Right now, there are no reports of damage or any injuries. The forecast for that area today calls for partly cloudy skies with a high of 75.
Tracking the next big thing. It's your 19 First Alert Precision Forecast.
All right, John.
We are ranked 19th in the nation for tornadoes. But April is a grab bag, and we've had snow this April.
Yeah.
That's Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at where we're headed today as the headlines include spotty showers much later today.
All right, John, thank you. New details on a woman who's accused of running down and nearly killing 4 people. This morning, Shayla Harris is back behind bars. She's accused of making threats on social media. Police say that she targeted her alleged victims in Westlake and Bay Village. One of the victims is pregnant. Police say Harris also made threats against the unborn child. She's now facing new charges. Happening today, another protest is planned at a Lakewood park. Community leaders are not happy with the changes at Madison Park. The city closing the basketball courts after 2 recent shootings. Neighbors are meeting at the park this afternoon at 4. They say the basketball courts are a key to the community. They want the hoops back. They're also calling on the city to promote inclusive planning for the parks. The Cleveland Metro Parks is closing Merwin's Wharf after Mother's Day. A spokesperson blames a seasonal staffing shortage. The Metro Parks is also choosing not to host the summer concert series at Edgewater Live or Euclid Beach Live this year. Concessions at Euclid Beach also are closed for the 2021 season. Coming up, the darker side of TikTok. This morning, why the social media platform is embroiled in controversy. Plus, here's a live look outside at a nice start to your day. Meteorologist John Loftman is here with your first alert forecast.
19 News first. Fair everywhere. Now on 19 News, the Cleveland comeback. Ready for the national spotlight. Our city welcomes the NFL Draft 2021.
We don't want students sitting in the classroom for 4 years hearing about how great it can be. We want them experiencing it.
Hands-on learning at the NFL Draft. The NFL Draft is giving some local students the opportunity of a lifetime. It's serving as a gateway to their careers. Our Jim Nelson shows us how the event is leaving a lasting impact.
One of the major side effects of the pandemic has been the way students learn because so many restrictions were in place.
All right, you can stay with 19 News for continuing coverage of the NFL Draft. You can find the latest details on air, online, and on all of our digital platforms. John, I want to know, I'm sure many people want to know, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, let's take a look.
Crystal ball.
Yeah, right. This is what at this stage looks like. I mean, just grab your rain gear.
All right, John, thank you. This next story is beyond disgusting and disgraceful. Someone made up a hashtag that encourages violence towards women. It's not local, it's national, but people here are outraged. For the sake of transparency, we weighed whether telling this story gives the wrong people a platform. We decided you had a right to know. Tiara Braddock with this story.
Rape is never a joke.
Welcome back. How poor quality sleep could be deadly. Plus, Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccinations are back. Elise Preston has this week's top health stories. This morning, a 19 News consumer alert for parents. Diapers are getting more expensive. It's making things even tougher for low-income families. Many are already struggling through the pandemic. Diaper makers are paying higher material and shipping costs. They blame disruptions in the supply chain. They're passing on those costs to customers. Coming up next, we're taking you inside a new exhibit at the Rock Hall for the NFL Draft. But first, here's a live look outside at downtown Cleveland from the Fiesel Roof Cam. John Loftman returns with an update on the chance of rain for your weekend.
19 News first. Fair everywhere.
All right, we're just days away from the NFL Draft here in Cleveland, and the Rock Hall is blending sports, music, and pop culture into one very cool exhibit. Stephen Hernandez with the story. All right, stay with 19 News for continuing coverage leading up to the big day. Look for updates both on air and online and across all of our digital platforms. And of course, John, everyone wants to know winter coats, rain jacket, umbrella. What's the weather going to be like?
You know what? I mean, there's so much to do here. I mean, even if you're going inside on a day like maybe Thursday when we have a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms, head into the Rock Hall.
Coming up, the 19 News Investigates team with new information in a deadly police shooting.
Live from the 19 News studios. Driven by the injury attorneys at Kissling, Nestico, and Reddick. This is 19 News.
A police officer fires a fatal shot, but he turned off his body camera moments before he pulled the trigger. The 19 News investigates team with new information on his punishment. Here's Hannah Catlett. In the East Cleveland Police Chief's letter, he gave the same reprimand to another officer. That officer also failed to record a separate deadly shooting that he was involved in. However, we learned that officer had never been disciplined previously. Coming up next, Tiger Woods breaks his silence.
19 News. First, fair, everywhere.
Tiger Woods posts a new picture on his verified Instagram account. Take a look. It shows the golf legend on a golf course in crutches with his dog. This is Woods' first photo of himself since his horrible car accident. In the post, Woods wrote, quote, "It's nice to have a faithful rehab partner, man's best friend." This morning, new research. If you had trouble getting to sleep last night, you probably know how lullabies are a great way to ease a restless baby to sleep. Turns out they may also help older adults who struggle to get to bed each night. This report finds listening to music can help improve your sleep quality. So does rain, John.
Yeah, well, that too. But many of us won't see any at all as we make our way through the late afternoon hours.
All right, thanks for watching 19 News this morning. The CBS Morning Show is next. Have a great Saturday.